How you doing, world? This is JJ, and I'm your host for African American News Channel. Today, we have some very interesting videos for you guys. So grab your popcorn, grab you something cold to drink, and come right back, because you don't want to miss this. Now, my first video is about a man born in Africa who's currently living in America. And he says just because you're born in Africa and you move to America does not make you an African American. Watch this video.
I am an African and I moved to America. Does that make me an African American? Let's talk about it. Elon Musk is under fire for claiming to be African American immigrant, which is very interesting because, again, he is a South African that was born in Africa and then moved to Canada and then moved to America. And now, he's taking the African American identity and claiming it to be something that he identifies with, when African American itself is a ethnic group which belongs and denotes from enslaved Africans that were displaced from the African continent in regards to the Atlantic slave trade and were subjected to chattel slavery, and which is why they were dispositioned from the African continent, which is why their sense of identity and ethnic group relates to them being called African American. The African American ethnic groups denotes from people who were enslaved. If you're not descendant from that, why are you claiming to be African American? Which for me does not make sense. Yes, logically speaking, you are an African in America. You are an African and American in America, but you are not from the ethnic group of African American. Let's make this make sense, because you guys are fighting semantics and it's honestly really stupid.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was he right or was he wrong? Comment below. Now, my next video is about an African woman currently living in America who says her African mother ruined her life. Watch this video.
You guys, I'm sorry. I've been crying since I woke up this morning. I'm sorry, I need a minute. Okay, so I woke up this morning to a very heated argument with my African Nigerian mother about the trauma that she put me through. About the trauma that she and my dad put me through. How they used to beat the shit out of me as kids. And I'm going to the gym right now because I need to take all this energy off. I already used my Florida water this morning, but I'm so traumatized because they fucked my life up. They treated me like an adult when I was a child. I took care of my siblings. I took them to school. I bathed them. I raised my siblings as of like 10 years old, because as of 9 years old, I was back home. I was taking them to school. I was feeding them. And now I was trying to tell her the things that she did to me and how she ruined my life. And how I can't have a regular relationship with anybody. Like, my relationship is fucked up because my trauma keeps popping up in there and I keep projecting it on them, and it just fucked them up. And I was trying to talk to her today because she did the same thing to my sister. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, the way you're going about this thing, you're gonna lose this girl. She's gonna leave the house, and the same shit she did to me when I left home at 17, you're gonna do it to this girl. And she was like, well, if I didn't do that to you when you were a child, are you gonna be the way you are right now? I was like, Mom, are you serious right now? You traumatized me. You fucked up my life. My dad used to beat me. Like, he He wouldn't stop beating me until there was blood on my body. Like, until he saw that I was bleeding. And now she wants me to call him and talk to him and kiki with him. And I'm telling her it can't be possible, and she's asking me to forgive. I have forgiven, but I would never forget, because you fucking hurt me. And now I have to go to...
How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Was her mother right or was her mother wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African American man who says Black history is American history. Whew. Watch this video.
Black history is American history, and I want to speak directly to the Republican Party. Some of the things they say and do, you gotta laugh to keep from punching somebody in the face or to keep from crying. The Republican Party and Ron DeSantis, do me a favor. Pick up a book and read a book. Read a couple of books. Read an African American history curriculum. And we know that you are trying to erase that history because you don't want black people to have knowledge of self. You want to oppress, suppress, and control us. But guess what, DeSantis and Republican Party? It ain't happening. We ain't going back to slavery, where it was illegal for us to learn how to read and write. And when we tried to learn how to read and write, you chased us, raped us, and lynched us. We're not going back to slavery, Ron DeSantis. We ain't going back to Jim Crow. We ain't going back. This isn't Make America Great Again to be the kind of America you wanted it to be. We are standing here enlightened, empowered, and we are woke as hell. So you can try to continue with your anti-woke agenda, but the only people who ain't woke is you. On the House floor today, you are equating socialism with communism and dictatorship. That's not even what socialism is. But if y'all read books, you would know the difference. You would know that before we came to this country, we were kings and queens, never porch monkeys. There were empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get books to learn from black teachers who taught Greeks and Romans, Asian Arabs, and gave them gold when gold was converted to money. It all changed. Money then became empowerment for Europeans. And you're still using that money to oppress us under the thumb of plantation capitalism. We know your game, and we're calling your game out. And my bill, the African American History Act, is a bill we are going to push hard through the House. We make better decisions. And then we could solve humanity's most pressing issues like hunger and climate change and homelessness and poverty and all the stuff you don't want us to solve because you just want to remain in power. Stop lying, read a book, and you are never, ever, ever gonna take us back to slavery and Jim Crow, and you are never going to kill us. We don't die, we multiply. Get up out of here with your nonsense.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was he right or was he wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African American woman who says black people need to stop bullying black people because that ain't right. That just ain't right. Watch this video.
I'm so fucking mad I gotta take my earrings off for this shit. Let me fucking tell y'all something. Cause see, when shit go down with kids, I blame the fucking parents and I blame the environment. Okay? This is the third school that I'm now paying for that I have put my child in because he has dealt with bullying. Today, a fucking child choked my son in a fucking swing for doing absolutely nothing because he was not engaging in some shenanigans. Boys was roughhousing. He wasn't interested. He went and sat on the swing. Because he was not interested, another child who was mad got mad because he ain't interested in horse playing. Came up and choked his ass. Now, for those who don't know, you get choked out because the blood flow stops to your brain, not because you can't breathe. So for a fucking child to choke my son, and it's a private school now, but I learned because I went through it. It don't fucking matter where you at. It's people everywhere, and I'm gonna say this, and you can be offended and you can be mad, and because you probably was the bully or you even went through this. When you act a certain way, when you look a certain way, when you don't dwell in certain things, people be mad as hell about that. Children too. And I'm ready to knock the fucking block off a parent. Let me tell you why. Because children soak up things like sponges. So half of y'all that got 90% of y'all that got kids shouldn't have kids. Because you neglect them, you go to work, you leave them with other people. Half the time you don't even know your fucking children. And third of all, your child is a fucking demon when he go around other kids. And what's even sadder, he got to deal with it from folks that look like him. I just don't understand it. And at this point, I'm calling out the black community. Because it's the black community who I have an issue with. Number one, in father absence. You don't want to talk about that though. And number one, when it comes to arguing and fighting folks for different shades, but being the same fucking race. And it's other kids like my kids that's going to have to suffer with it and have trauma because of it. Trauma that I still to this day deal with is now affecting my child. Yeah. I'm calling the black community out. I'm calling us out. We're going to have to do better. Yep. We're going to have to do better. Yep, I said it. I'm calling everybody out. And y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all do. Next.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Were the black kids right or were they wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about a group of African American kids doing a doll experiment. You say a doll experiment? Yes. Watch this video.
Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me.
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
How did you guys feel about that video? Were the kids right for thinking the way they thought? Or were they wrong for thinking the way they thought? Do you guys blame the parents or do you guys just blame society? Were the people giving the kids the experiment on the dolls, were they right or were they wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African American woman who says, I'm not calling white people anymore. I'm calling them European Americans. How you doing, European American? What's your name, European American? Watch this video.
From now on, white people here in America will be referred to by me as European Americans at all times. I will no longer be affording you the privilege of feeling ownership of this country. There is one set of Americans in this country, and you decided to round them up and put them onto reservations and strip them of their ownership over this country. They are the only Americans here. The rest of us are guests. Some of us ruder fucking guests than others, but we are guests here nevertheless. I am an African American. My fellow POCs are Asian Americans, Latino Americans, etc. You are included in that group. You are not any fucking different here, as much as you would like to separate yourselves from the rest. You are a European American, and I feel like it's time for everybody to start bringing you guys back down to our level, because you are no better. If you want the privilege of indigeneity, go the fuck home.
How do you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Comment below. Now, my next video is about an African American man who says when the white folks went to Africa, the Africans had the land, the white folks had the Bible. The white man told the Africans to get on their knees and close their eyes. When the African man opened their eyes, the white folks had the land and the Africans had the Bible. Now that's deep and that's cold. Watch this video.
Remember, when they attacked Africa, they did not attack Africa physically. They did not attack Africa educationally. They attacked Africa spiritually. Jomo Kenyatta said when the European first came to Africa, the Africans had the land and the white man had the Bible. White man told him to close his eyes, get on his knees and pray. Jomo said when the black man opened his eyes, the white man had the land and the black man had the Bible. We have bought into a story that we told them. They have twisted it. They got it twisted. We have now bought that story back. Boukman, Haitian Revolution, the original revolutionary, because he was turned in the night of the revolution. That's when Toussaint Louverture took over. The book Irritated Genie, we need to read. Name was Boukman. Boukman was called Boukman from Jamaica because he couldn't be handled in Jamaica. He was sold to Haiti. He started a rebellion amongst the African people. And they knew him as Boukman because they always read. He was very intelligent. He always taught the people who they were and what they were. The night before the revolution, Boukman looked to his brothers and sisters in the field. And he said, you want to win? Cast aside your white God. Embrace your African spirit. You are free. He didn't say you will be free. He didn't say you can be free. He didn't say you could be free. He said, cast aside your white God. You are free.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was he right or was he wrong? Comment below. Now, my take on today's videos is this. Do your knowledge, read your books, and do your research. Just by Googling something don't mean you're doing real research. You might have to pay a little bit of money for real research, but trust me, it's well worth it. A lot of people think that African Americans and black people is indigenous to the Americas. That is not true in no type of way. Matter of fact, African Americans have more white and European DNA in them than they do Native American DNA in them. That's been the biggest myth of all time. The average African American has 1% or less Native American DNA in them. They have about 20 to 24% white European DNA in them. So a lot of people think, their grandmas got that good hair, their family got that good hair, they from Cherokee, they from Navajo, they some type of Native American. That's not true. That good hair comes from the 20 to 24% you have in your body from the white and European Americans. Most black people, if you do a DNA test, it's going to come back to Africa. It's going to trace back to Africa. We are not indigenous to America. We are African Americans from Africa. A lot of you guys might not agree. A lot of you guys might get mad. But do your research because I did my research. You cannot go off what somebody says or you watch a couple of videos or you Google something and it tell you that. No, do your research. If you get a DNA genealogy test, it's going to come back 1% or less Native American. It probably come back no Native American at all. It's sad to say, but a lot of black Americans and African Americans is half white. I can't say half because it's only 20 to 24% out of 100%, but that's a strong, strong number. The rest of the percentage will be from Africa. Black people, we come from Africa. Let's all get it together. Let's build our country. Let's embrace our people, embrace one another, and we can help and learn from one another. We can make Africa great because we are Africa. Instead of making America great, let's go back home and make Africa great. My name is JJ. This is African American News Channel. If you like today's videos, please comment, subscribe, and like. It helps the channel out a lot, and it encourages us to keep on making these good videos for you guys. Remember, have a blessed day. You guys are loved, and take care.
Did you know this? Every time a DNA test is done on an indigenous person of the Americas, their DNA goes back to Asia. Every time they do a DNA test of pretend Indians or black Indians, their DNA goes back to Africa.